Hello, this is Angela.
What's up? This is Richie, and we're here with our Week 9 weekday reviews, or previews actually, our Week 9 previews. Um, there's actually a lot of games during the week this week. There's one on Tuesday, and there's like 9 more, so there's 10 total. So, I guess we'll just jump right into it. The first game, Tuesday game, Troy Trojans against South Alabama. This shouldn't be too close. Troy is one of the best teams in the Sun Belt. They're top 40 nationally in offense, top 20 in sacks and tackles for loss. South Alabama, they're a top 10 in interceptions, but they don't have much of an offense to keep up with Troy, so I think Troy wins.
I'll go for Troy.
Then jump to the Thursday games. There's a lot of really good games this week. Toledo Rockets take on Western Michigan Broncos. This has the potential to be a shootout. Toledo's kind of been underperforming this year, though. Western Michigan's been really good. They're both top 30 nationally in scoring offense, but Western Michigan, they're basically top 30 in all their offense overall. They're top 7 in turnovers gained. They're top 9 in tackles for loss. Toledo's defense is not ranked, is not very good this year. So I'm actually. It has the potential to be a shootout, but I'll go with Western Michigan to win.
I'll go for Baylor.
You mean Toledo?
Toledo, sorry.
Alright. Then the next game is Baylor taking on West Virginia. This also has the potential to be a shootout because Baylor's offense, they're 41st in scoring, 12th in passing offense, 19th in total offense. West Virginia, they're basically top 25 in offense. The defensive edge goes to West Virginia overall, but they're still not. They're not great on the event. They're decent. They're pretty good. This also has the potential to be a shootout, but I'm gonna give the edge to West Virginia, mostly because of their quarterback. He had a really bad game last week, but he's got the edge and experience over Baylor's quarterback. Charlie Brewer has been playing well, but West Virginia, Will Greer, he's still one of the best in the Big 12 and nationally. So West Virginia, I'm going with.
This one I'm going to Baylor.
Okay. Ball State taking on Ohio. This could be kind of close. This is one of the things where, like, statistically, it sort of leans a little bit to Ball State, but Ohio has been one of the best teams in the MAC for about 13 years now. Ohio, they're basically a top 30 offense. Ball State has a decent pass offense and total offense. Ball State, they're basically top 20 in sacks and tackles for loss. Ohio Bobcats, they're top 8 in interceptions, and Ball State can pass. But so I'm gonna give the edge to Ohio. I think overall they're a better, more solid team.
I'll go for Ohio Bobcats.
All right, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. This is actually a big game in the ACC in terms of conference, the race for conference championships. The real thing here, Georgia Tech, they're the number 1 rushing offense in the country with their triple option. Virginia Tech's run defense is 27th nationally, and they're actually in the top 6 in terms of fumbles gained, which can be significant with the kind of offense Georgia Tech runs. With them handling the ball, where they're handing it off, pitching it, or a lot. Usually, triple option offenses tend to fumble it more because of that. Virginia Tech has a pretty good passing offense and total offense overall. They're about even all across the board. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Georgia Tech. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I think Georgia Tech's rush offense might be a little much, but I don't know. This will go right to the wire. This will be like a last second kick kind of game, like, last second field goal win. So I'm gonna go Georgia Tech though.
I'll go with Virginia Tech.
All right, no, one of the really good games in the Sun Belt. Appalachian State taking on Georgia Southern. Both only have one loss. This is pretty much kind of it for part of the Sun Belt anyway. Appalachian State, they're in the top 10 or top 20 in offense with rushing, scoring, and total. They're also one of the top 20 teams nationally in defense overall. Georgia Southern has the number 5 rushing offense in the country, number 24 defense in the country. They're actually tied for number 1 in the nation in turnover margin and tied for 4th with turnovers gained. So they force a lot of turnovers, but this should be really close, go back and forth. I'm giving the edge to Appalachian State. I think Appalachian State, I don't know, it's really hard to pick. I think partially because their defense is, Georgia Southern defense is actually not bad, they're decent, but Appalachian State is one of the best in the country. So, that being said, I'm going to give the edge to Appalachian State.
I'll go for Appalachian State.
Alright, going to the Friday games. Louisiana Tech Bulldogs taking the Florida Atlantic Owls. Before the season started, this looked to be one of the better games in the CUSA, and it still looks like it could be, but Florida Atlantic hasn't been playing very well the last couple games. Louisiana Tech is still really good. Offensively, they're about even. Defensively, the big edge is Louisiana Tech. Florida Atlantic is like in the hundreds in defense in all the categories, and Louisiana Tech is like in the top 50 basically in every defensive category. They're top 8 in sacks. They actually have defensive lineman Jalen Ferguson. He leads the nation as of today with 9.5 sacks on the year. I hate to do this, but I'm going to give the edge. I'm going to go to Louisiana Tech because I think they're playing better overall. Florida Atlantic, I don't know what's wrong with them. Their offense just has been kind of sputtering. Like, their stats look good offensively, but they haven't been able to get much done. So
I'll still go for FAU.
Alright, Miami taking on Boston College. This should be pretty even. Miami, their top 24 scoring offense. Boston College is like a top 20 to 30 team in offense overall. But the defensive edge goes to Miami. They're 17th in scoring defense, 12th in rush defense, number 2 in both pass defense and total defense. They're top 11 in turnover margin. They're top 5 in sacks. They're number 1 in the nation in tackles for loss. That's Miami. Boston College, they're actually 4th in turnovers forced. They're top 5 in sacks and 4 in interceptions as well. But I think Miami, they had a bad game last week. They had a bye week. I think they correct everything, and they should at least come out with the win. It'll be a good game, though. It'll come down to the end.
I'm going to go for Miami.
Yeah. Indiana taking on Minnesota. Again, this is even. Basically, both teams are statistically even all across the board. The slight edge is I'll give to Indiana because they're a top 40 passing team, and Minnesota is not a very good pass defense. Indiana's top 6 in terms of turnovers gained and interceptions. The running back Stevie Scott, he's been really good the last few weeks. Minnesota is decent. I don't know. This will be really even. Like, every game this week is super even. They're basically kind of mirrors. But I'm going to give the slight edge to Indiana. Indiana almost beat Penn State, and so I think they should be able to beat Minnesota.
I'll go for Indiana.
Wyoming taking on Colorado State. Wyoming, they're number 34 nationally in rush defense, top 40 total defense. They have the number 9 rusher in the nation in Nico Evans. By that being said, Colorado State has a number 15 passing offense. Quarterback KJ Carter-Samuels is a top 20 passer in the nation. Their wide receiver Preston Williams, the number 8 receiver in the nation. Colorado State, their defense is not very good at all, but Wyoming's offense is also, even though they have one of the top runners in the country, that's about all they can really do. So I think Colorado State should score just enough to win, and I don't think Wyoming can really score enough to keep up.
I'll go for Colorado State as well.
Alright, then the last game for the weekday games on Friday, Utah taking on UCLA. UCLA's won their last 2 games. Joshua Kelly, he's had 100 yards in 4 straight games. 100 yards rushing, 4 straight. But all that being said, Utah just killed USC last week. They have one of the best defenses in the country. Their running back, Zach Moss, is a top 20 rusher. They have Huntley, their quarterback, is a really good quarterback. I think Utah should win this one. I don't know how close it'll be. UCLA have been playing really good the last 2 games. But Utah, the past few games, looked like one of the best teams in the Pac-12, at least. So I think Utah wins.
I'll go for UCLA.
All right, so those are our Week 9 weekday previews. So stay tuned for our Saturday picks. Peace.